Close your eyes for a moment and picture Hawaii. You probably see turquoise water, surfers riding perfect waves, honeymoon sunsets, and palm trees swaying in the breeze. It feels like paradise, right? But what if I told you that beneath those postcard views lies a history filled with powerful kings, secret overthrow plots, banned languages, and a queen who gave up her throne to save her people? This isn't the Hawaii most tourists hear about. This is the untold history of the 50th state. Long before Hawaii became part of the United States in 1959, it was a fully independent kingdom, and not just a small island society, a sophisticated, organized nation with its own constitution, diplomacy, and global recognition. The Hawaiian Islands were first settled by Polynesian voyagers over 1,000 years ago. They crossed thousands of miles of open ocean, using only the stars, winds, and ocean currents to guide them. No GPS, no compasses, just knowledge passed down through generations. That alone is one of the greatest navigation achievements in human history. For centuries, the islands were divided among competing chiefs. That changed in the late 1700s with one extraordinary figure, King Kamehameha I. Using both diplomacy and warfare, and acquiring Western weapons from foreign traders, he unified the islands under one rule in 1810. It was the first time in history Hawaii became a single kingdom, but unification was only the beginning. As Western ships began arriving in the late 18th and early 19th centuries, Hawaii became a strategic stop in the Pacific. Whalers, traders, missionaries, and businessmen all arrived, and with them came new religions, new laws, and devastating diseases. Here's something many people don't realize. Native Hawaiians once numbered close to 800,000 people. In response, a group of American and European businessmen formed what they called a Committee of Safety. With support from U.S. Marines stationed in Honolulu, they overthrew the Queen. Let that sink in. A recognized sovereign kingdom was overthrown without a vote from its people. Queen Liliuokalani made a heartbreaking decision. Rather than encourage violence that could cost Hawaiian lives, she temporarily yielded her authority, trusting that the United States would investigate and restore her throne. She wrote a powerful letter protesting the overthrow, stating she yielded to the superior force of the United States, not to the will of her people. But restoration never came. Hawaii was annexed by the United States in 1898 during the Spanish-American War, largely because of its strategic location in the Pacific. It officially became the 50th state in 1959 after a statehood vote. Here's something many people don't know. At the time of annexation, there was no treaty ratified by the U.S. Senate with the required two-thirds majority. Instead, annexation was done through a joint resolution of Congress, a controversial move that some native Hawaiians still question today. And the story doesn't end there. After the overthrow, the Hawaiian language was banned in schools. Children were punished for speaking it. Within a generation, the language nearly disappeared. By the 1980s, fewer than 50 children were native Hawaiian speakers. Imagine your mother tongue being outlawed in your own homeland. But here's where resilience shines. In the late 20th century, a Hawaiian cultural renaissance began. Activists, educators, and community leaders worked tirelessly to revive the language, traditions, and identity. Immersion schools reopened. Hula, once discouraged, was proudly practiced again. Today, thousands of students are learning Hawaiian, and the language is officially recognized alongside English in the state. Now let's talk about another moment that shaped Hawaii and the world, Pearl Harbor. On December 7, 1941, the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, located on Oahu, pulled the United States into World War II. But here's something less discussed. Hawaii was placed under martial law for nearly 3 years. Civil rights were suspended. Military authorities controlled daily life. For residents, especially Japanese Americans in Hawaii, it was a time of tension and suspicion. Yet despite facing discrimination, thousands of Japanese American men from Hawaii volunteered to serve in the U.S. military. The 402nd Regimental Combat Team became one of the most decorated units in U.S. military history. Hawaii's identity has always been layered: indigenous roots, Asian and Pacific influences, American political ties. Plantation labor brought workers from Japan, China, the Philippines, Portugal, and Korea. Their descendants shaped Hawaii's multicultural identity. In fact, Hawaii is the only U.S. state where no single ethnic group holds a majority. But paradise has its challenges. Tourism now drives much of Hawaii's economy, bringing millions of visitors each year. While tourism provides jobs and revenue, It also raises questions about land use, environmental protection, and the rising cost of living for native Hawaiians. Today, native Hawaiians are disproportionately affected by homelessness and economic hardship in their ancestral homeland. It's a complex and ongoing conversation about sovereignty, justice, and cultural preservation. And yet, through all of this, the rise of a kingdom, the overthrow of a queen, the banning of a language, the shock of war, Hawaii endures. Not just as a vacation destination, but as a place of deep history, resilience, and identity. So the next time you see a sunset over Waikiki or hear the sound of a ukulele drifting through the air, remember this: Hawaii isn't just a paradise. It's a story of strength, of survival, of a people who refuse to let their culture disappear. And maybe the most untold part of Hawaii's history isn't just what was lost. It's what was never fully taken away.